Hey guys, it's Untitled Logan back with another video for you, and today we're going to be taking a look at the first of the reviews from the Shadow H2O review build kind of project that I did. Just for those of you, if you're just finding this review for the first time, if you hit the channel, the rig that I've got beside me I actually did as almost like a project build. And the project was just to build up the selected components and everything ready for a batch of reviews. So the graphics card is going to be reviewed, the case is going to be reviewed, the water cooling is going to be reviewed, and possibility of the motherboard being reviewed as well, but at the moment I'm still not sure about that. But anyway, today we're taking a look at the Powercolor 6990 LCS Liquid Cooled system, and it's a 6990 with a pre-fitted, which means it's warranted or warranted, an EK water block on there, and it's got a nickel base and a Delrin or a black acrylic, whatever you want to call it, acetal top. One of the things with the 6990s was they were a bit loud anyway, so I've always been kind of interested to get one of these in. But also, rather than sticking the 6990 on a 360 rad on its own and having it in, you know, like an open air test bench, we thought we'd kind of make the review kind of more real world by the way that we've stuck it in a complete system. We've also got it in the same loop with the CPU on one 360mm 60mm thick rad, so it's 360mm long because of the three 120mm fans, and then it's 60mm thick, so it's the kind of one of the thick-ish radiators that you can get before you go daft and get enormous ones. But the idea is it's all accessible kit, so the temperatures and everything will be pretty much the type of stuff that you can expect if you were to be doing this at home. So it's, like I said, it's a bit of a twist than just sticking it in its own loop and stuff like that. But what we're going to be doing is a range of tests on it today. So obviously we'll do all the 3D benchmarks, we'll do some gaming as well, and then as always at the end I'll wrap everything up. But one thing I will say is this is the first of two reviews that you're going to see the 6990 LCS in, because in a week or so I'm also going to be doing a water cooled 6990 versus a water cooled 590, and we're also going to be doing in that review we're going to be doing DX9 versus DX11 Crisis, but also single screen versus triple screen. So it's going to be a lot of versuses going on, but it's going to be a massive AMD versus Nvidia shootout really. And by taking the air heat sinks out of it, it's going to be pretty much down to all down to performance at the end of the day. Temperatures are not going to be taken into account, silence is not going to be taken into account, it's all going to be about frames per second. And then obviously also we're going to be chucking in DX9 versus DX11 Crisis 2 just to see how much of a difference that patch has made. But anyway, we need to be getting on with the 6990 now. And first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop you off the tripod and grab hold of you and just give you a look at temperatures at the moment. Just to start off with, for those of you that don't know, we've got a 990X in there. It's actually at 1.35 volts, 4.4 gigahertz, 200 times 22. We just went with that. It does go higher, but went with that with a nice kind of, it's a big clock for a 990X, but we just went it because it's a nice average score. We're running the 990, we've upped it to 950. It does go further than that, but some of the games get a bit shaky. So this is absolutely bomb-proof, rock solid, stable. Not a problem with this at all. So we've gone with 950 up from 880 on the clock, and 1300 up from 1250 on the memory. Over here, if you have a look at this, this is the actual temperature of the CPU, the GPU at the moment, 31. Lowest has been 29, highest has been 31. It's been idling for a little while. These are all the CPU scores as well. But basically what we're going to do is I'm going to run some 3D Mark 11 now. I'm going to move all of these down a bit actually because, I'm going to move all of these down a bit because at the end of each one you'll be able to see the temperatures as well. So we'll move all those out of it. but now we're going to run some 3D Mark 11, and I'll open it with you while you're on screen. Just go to basic performance, move this up. Right, I'm going to let that run, and you guys can come back in a sec. I'm also going to run 3D Mark Vantage P as well, so that you can see the pair of the scores. But yeah, back in a tick. Okay guys, we're running 3D Mark 11. If I bring the camera in, one of the problems, if I just let you listen for a second. Did you hear the clicking stop then? It's because the test is changing. Just wait a second. Now the clicking has started again. That was one of the problems with the original, or the normal 6990, was the noise it made while it was actually running. Take it back in again, you better hear it again. So the fan noise is gone, but the electric noise of the capacitors and stuff hasn't. It's just stopped again because the test is changing. There it goes again. Right guys, 3D Mark Vantage running now. You can hear that the tone of the noise has changed completely on the card now. Anyway guys, just wanted to demonstrate that for you. I'm going to get on with the testing. Right then guys and girlies, 3D Mark Vantage P score 38,940. As you can see, that's with a GPU score of 38,463 and a CPU score of 40k. 10,487 P score for Vantage, but the most important thing is to have a look at is the temperatures. As you can see, the graphics card has hit a maximum of 50 degrees, and the hottest temperature there that the CPU has hit has been 56 degrees on the second core. So considering the overclocks and everything like that, the temperatures are outstanding. Anyway, that's it for Vantage P and 3D Mark 11P. What we're going to do now is run Extreme on 11 and 3D Mark Vantage on high, and have a look at those tests. Right then guys, on to the conclusion. Slight change of attire because it's actually a different day. One thing that you're going to notice as well is we've not done any gaming benchmarks, and I'll explain why. That's basically because we are going to be doing at a later date a 590 versus 6990 with this card and a 590. I've got water blocked up. But if you do want to see any game benchmarks and results, I am going to put, obviously I've got to upload the video first, but once the main review's live, I will put the link underneath so you can go and see the benchmarks and see graphs and stuff and the frames per second and everything like that on the main overclock 3D review. But we just wanted to do this as a kind of like a subsidiary to the main review, but like I said, we are going to be using this card in several videos, so I didn't want to give you too much now, otherwise we'd just be repeating ourselves. But anyway, conclusion. The 6990 LCS from Powercolor. That was my phone, by the way. The water block is exactly what the 6990 needed. I don't think without some, huge flipping cooler with vapor chambers and like specially made fans that we would have ever really been able to tame this beast. Now with the water cooling, obviously as I said, we've done this with a big rad, but we've overclocked the CPU and everything as well. We've not given it an easy life really. We have made it quite tough, but at the same time we've tried to make it as close to what most people will be doing anyway by having a single loop and chucking it all in there. Now the temperatures themselves were pretty good, unless you leave Unigine running for like 90 minutes, 2 hours. It was ages I left it running, I completely forgot about it. Throughout the gaming sessions, even when we'd been playing on the normal games and stuff for like 3 or 4 hours, because we really did push this one weekend where a few people come round and we were all gaming and stuff on it. Under normal use, the card doesn't really exceed 50 degrees. It's only when you leave that really stressful, Unigine is pretty demanding. When you leave that running, so the card's at 100%, the CPU's working really, really, really hard as well. It's really the only time that I see the temperatures go up, and it hit 57. But 57 for a graphics card on full load like this is nothing. Do you know what I mean? It was brilliant. And don't forget, it's I'd overclocked it as well. Talking of overclocked, it was only a couple of games that really were a bit funny. A couple of benchmarks that were a bit funny with it at 1000 core, but I dropped it back to 950 just because it was an absolute bomb-proof point there. But like I said, a lot of the stuff was running okay at 1000 on the core. So, and that's without having any voltage options there either. Because for some reason with this, now I'm not sure whether it's I'm pretty sure my OEM card didn't have voltage options at all on it. This one didn't come with it as well, but I think that's a lot to do with the fact there's we've only really got 2 8-pins there. And yeah, I didn't see any changes with Afterburner, and Afterburner you can normally select to unlock the voltage options, and it just wasn't there at all. So I think it's just one of those things with the 6990s. But a 950 core clock without a voltage change is pretty good anyway. And by the way, the BIOS was on the overclocking BIOS as well, so we may have got a little bit of a bump from that anyway. But 880 up to 950 certainly isn't an overclock to be sniffed at. One of the things to think about with the graphics card as well is the fact that where the water block's pre-fitted, you've not got to void your warranty by taking a normal 6990 apart to put the water block on there. So you've definitely got the bonuses there. Obviously you still have to go careful and don't spill water or like your coolant or everything like that over, because you're not going to be covered for that. But as long as you do your normal kind of routine and take care with your loop and stuff, you're not going to get any problems anyway. Now, obviously by losing the fan, the card is immensely cooler, which was my biggest gripe with pretty much all of the 6000 series. Pretty much from the 6950 up, I wasn't that impressed, because the coolers themselves were just too loud. They were like leaf blowers, like the old 1950s from way back. So by having the water block on there, it all comes down to how loud your water cooling is. So that was absolutely perfect. But as I demonstrated in the video, you've still got a lot of electrical switching noise from the power regulators, kind of clicking a lot. Now with this rig, once you had audio on, it wasn't too bad. You could still hear it if you were listening for it, but I think if you had headphones on or you had your games up, you'd probably get so immersed in your games that you wouldn't hear it. But it is definitely still there. If you're a silence freak, then it will probably still drive you nuts. It was still there for me. I was tuning into it, but that was because I was specifically looking for it. So you're going to need to be able to work out from your own experience of what you expect, whether that noise is going to drive you, it's going to be something that you're not going to like. But like I said, if you've got a noisy rig, or you've always got your headphones and everything on, you're probably never going to notice a difference. But it's only really going to be an issue for those, as I said, that really like their rig's quiet, or they're going to tune into something like that. But the fact that the fan's gone is probably the biggest thing for me as a big positive, because it was just such a badly designed reference cooler for everything from the 6950, the 6970 and the 6990. I just really didn't cut the mustard. They did not spend enough time on that. I think they've been using that same fan for forever. And it's one of the things that I feel the red team kind of let themselves down with this series of cards in a big way. Some people don't seem to find it too much of a problem, but when you kind of balance it all out, I thought it was a bit of a kind of something they had fallen short on. So by Powercolor rectifying that with an easy water block, considering they've done LCS cards for a while, was brilliant. So overall, I think this is probably going to be about as good as the 6990s are going to get, without a complete PCB redesign and extra power, and to up the overclocking abilities and stuff like that. I think we've pretty much got as far as we're going to go with the this dual card. And the water block was a very easy and very clever option to choose as well, because water's obviously becoming a lot more mainstream now, so it was definitely a good option there. So award wise, I'm going to give it a gold, basically. Nice and simple, give it a gold award, because overclocking is good, temperatures are great. Obviously that the temperatures are going to be dependent on your water cooling system, but as you can see with this, we've done it with a single rad, and as I've explained in the rest of the video, so we've done that on purpose. So you should get temps like this, if not better, depending on your system. Obviously the noise is better because it's just the water cooling now. You've still got that electrical noise, but it's a reference PCB, so at the end of the day that's down to, again, it's the AMD design. So it's without, like I said again, without a PCB redesign and using different components and going about things differently, then you're not really going to be able to get past that. So I think Powercolor, by fitting the card and everything, they've done as much as they possibly can without spending a bucket load on research and development. And to be perfectly honest, I wouldn't say it would have been worth them investing any more money in it anyway. I think they've hit the sweet spot here easily. Do you know what I mean? Keep the price down, EK water block on there. It's about as good as they're going to get. And let's face it, it all kind of works as well with the back plate and that nice little bit of nickel there. Really works in this rig. I really like it. You've also got to consider as well, something that we're going to be doing later on, is that they natively support 3 screens as well. Well, it's actually, I'm pretty sure it's 4 screens out of the box on these. Yeah, it's 4 screens out of the box. You can have 3 at the bottom and you can stick another one above if you want to. So yeah, it's a very, very capable card. You've obviously got the 4 GB of memory on there as well, so it's going to be plenty to run your 3 screens should you want to go that route. I do on a daily basis, I can't do without it, but that's for work rather than gaming. So pretty much, yeah, it's a 6990 with a pre-fitted water block that's going to be covered by warranty. You're not going to have to worry about it. If you were looking at getting a new 6990 and your water cooling, I would probably say you're much better off getting this, because you've got the quality of the EK water block anyway, but then you've got your warranty for the 6990, so should it go bandy, you can just take it out and, RMA it. Yeah, okay, it's going to be a pain in the bum to take your water loop apart, but let's face it, if you bought them separately and the card went, you'd still have to take your loop apart. At least this way you've not got to take the water block and everything off and go around trying to make it look like it's, do you know what I mean, it's never been in bits. This way you can just drop it out, stick a spare air card in for the time being, just to get you by, get some joiners so you can put the 2 hose bits together, because you can get 2 male ends, put the 2 hose bits together, stick a spare card in there for a bit, but let's face it, we're talking about if it breaks, not because it has or because it's likely to. This is just a worst case scenario. I'm trying to explain stuff to you. But I have been rambling, as I always do. So yeah, Powercolor 6990 LCS, water cooled, liquid cooled, however you want to call it, card. Probably, if Carlsberg made graphics for 6990s, anyone in the UK will understand what I'm on about. But yeah, this, I think, from my own point of view, I think this is about as good as we're going to get with 6990s. And Powercolor is a well-respected brand with a great great following and customer service and everything like that, so I really don't think we're going to get much better. So my advice for you would be, if you are water cooled and you are looking for a 6990 to buy, I would honestly tell you to buy this rather than buying another card and putting your own block on, because they've done all the hard work for you. So yes, that's about where we're going to leave it now, guys, although you will be seeing this card featured in another review within the next week or so. There's plenty to come from the Shadow LTO rig, because for the rest of this week we're going to be doing the Powercolor, so we're going to be doing the Phobia water cooling kit. We've got to review the Coolermaster HAF 932 Advanced, and then at the end of the week we may well be doing 6990 versus 590, and then as long as I get time, what I am going to try and do is a DX9 versus DX11 Crisis set of videos and benchmarks. But as well as that, what we're going to do is single 24-inch versus triple 24-inch DX9 versus DX11. So though that section of videos is going to take me ages to do, because if you think about it, I've got to make loads of benches for the DX9 versus DX11. But anyway, we are going to try and get that done with the two cards this week. But things are very tight time-wise around Overclock 3D and TTL Towers at the moment. But I will try my very, very best to get that done for you. But I'm going to leave you with that now, guys. This is Tiny Tom Logan with another video for you. Out.